Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here at NASA's Johnson Space Center for the International Space Station Expedition 61 and 62 Crew News Conference. With us here today are the crew members ready to tell us about their mission and what they've been training for. Next to me is NASA astronaut Jessica Meir. Jessica has a background in marine biology. She was selected as an astronaut in 2013, and this is going to be her first trip to space. Next to her is Hazzaa Ali Almansoori. Hazzaa is a spaceflight participant flying under contract with Roscosmos, about to embark on his first spaceflight. And next to him is Oleg Skripochka. This will be Oleg's third spaceflight. He spent 159 days in space on his first spaceflight back in 2010 and 2011, and then flew again in 2016. So he'll have a lot of experience to embark upon his crewmates here. Jessica, Oleg, and Hazzaa will be launching to the International Space Station with liftoff from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on September 25th. Hazzaa will spend 8 days on the space station and return with current station residents NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexei Ovchinin on October 3rd. Jessica and Oleg will remain on board for about a 6-month mission. First, we're going to give the crew a chance to tell us about their mission in their own words, and then you'll have an opportunity for everybody to ask them some questions. All right, so with that, let me turn to Jessica. Jessica, as I mentioned, it's your first space flight. You've been training for this a long time. You're about to really embark on this dream you've been dreaming about for a long time. So how does it feel? How's the training been? How does it feel that you're almost to launch day?
Yeah, thanks, Megan. We have definitely been here training for a while. So my classmates and I started in 2013, and several years of training, and then more intensely for this specific mission for the past year and a half. So it is a pretty interesting feeling when you really get used to this being our job, the training component and everything that we do on the ground for the last basically 6 years for me. And suddenly the job is about to change quite drastically, but in a way that all of this was building up to. So it's a really exciting feeling. And the best part is that the training that we receive here at the Johnson Space Center and in Russia and in all of our partner agencies is really so efficient and really so top-notch that we feel ready. We're ready to do the job, and we're ready to carry out the mission.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Hazzaa, this is your first space flight as well, and this is quite a unique opportunity for you, a unique position you're in. So what has it been like for you up until this point? What are you looking forward to getting out of this mission?
Thank you very much first for hosting us, and hello everyone. I'm really glad to be here. For me, this mission is a great milestone for me personally and for my country as well, for the United Arab Emirates, and for the whole Arab region in general. As we know, for the past 30 years, there was no astronaut from our region. And today, I'm really proud and honored to have this privilege to represent the whole Arab region to reach the International Space Station. I'm really excited and thrilled as it's getting close to my launch and to work with this amazing team here to represent the humanity in exploring space. Looking forward to join the crew on board the station and to work with them on a daily basis and to conduct the experiments. Really, I'm looking forward to come back with knowledge and experience and to share it with everyone in my region and also with my family and with everyone around me.
That's great. Thank you. We're excited to have you.
Thanks.
All right, Oleg, you have a lot of experience under your belt. So what are you looking forward to for this space flight?
But it will be my third flight, but at the same time it was the longest flight. And it's first time I fly as a Soyuz commander and station commander. So it's a big responsibility for me, but anyway, we have very excellent prepared crew. So Jessica demonstrated his excellent skills as a flight engineer. Hazzaa demonstrated his big knowledge and good skills. So I feel very comfortable about our next flight.
Great, thank you. Okay, now we're going to take some questions for the crew. So we'll start with you all here at Johnson Space Center. If you will please raise your hand, wait for the mic to come to you, and then state your name and affiliation. All right, questions over here? Mark.
Oh, thank you. Mark Carreau with Aviation Week and Space Technology. I'd like to ask Dr. Meir, there's more and more commercial crew milestones filling the last quarter of the year, perhaps. And I just wonder what you're sort of prepared for or have become even more prepared for, and what your role would sort of be in furthering those milestones. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a lot of the commercial crew dates have been a little bit in flux lately, but it does look like we should be seeing the Boeing OFT flight, so the orbital flight test. I think that will happen during our mission, and I've been receiving training on the ground to help make sure that that mission is successful while we're up there. We do also, of course, hope that we see some of the first commercial crew astronauts during our mission. That would be excellent. On the Boeing side, there's, of course, one of my classmates and some very experienced astronauts coming along. And then on the SpaceX side as well, we do hope to welcome them and that the size of our expedition crew will grow. But we'll have to wait and see how the calendar plays out. But I'm sure that we'll see some of those milestones coming. And I think just like everything that we do at NASA, the key is being flexible and being able to adapt. And that's something that our training really allows us to do. So we'll be ready for any scenario.
All right, more questions back there in the back.
Hey there, this message is for Jessica. My name is Melissa. I'm with KHOU, the CBS affiliate here in Houston. And as you all were talking about the mission, I was scrolling through your Instagram, and social media is so vital now with space travel. It's one and the other hand in hand. And a lot of your posts have female engineers and colleagues here at NASA. How will social media during this trip maybe impact little girls who are watching on all of these different platforms?
Yeah, I think social media is, whether or not you like it personally, it is really the way that the world communicates now. So I feel that it is kind of my responsibility to help do that and help share what we're doing, and so privileged and lucky to be doing with the rest of the world. And I think social media allows us to do that quite easily. So I will be continuing to maintain my social media accounts. The NASA accounts, the NASA astronauts accounts, of course, will also be maintained so that we can do our best to share it. And I hope you're right. I hope that it does inspire and stimulate young girls and young people from all kinds of different backgrounds and diverse experiences to strive toward careers in the STEM fields and to fulfill their dream, no matter what their dream is. It sounds quite trite, and I've said this a few times before, but we really are proof that dreams can come true. Probably all three of us never thought that it would really happen for us, and it did. So with enough work and enough luck as well, anything can happen.
Awesome. All right, more questions here. Over here.
Jim Oberg with Spectrum Magazine for Commander Skripochka. You have the experience of 2 previous missions. What improvements do you expect to find on the station now to make your next flight easier? For example, communications. What other improvements do you expect to find?
First of all, it's a very interesting job. For example, a unique chance to look to our planet from a side. So it will my first experience, as I said, to be as Soyuz commander. It's a new level of responsibility, and we have a lot of new science experiments that we'll have to do on board.
Will you use the new Luch communication satellite for more continuous communications? Yep. Okay.
Hi, my name is Gilad Katz. I'm the Consul General of Israel to the Southwest, and I would want 2 things. First of all, to Hazzaa, if I'm not mistaken, I think that from outer space, the borders look differently, and the region looks completely quiet and peacefully. And I really do hope that you going as the representative of the region, that also includes Israel, of course, hopefully that will help in having a contribute to the peace in our region. And to Jessica, as you have an Israeli background, and unfortunately the last time an Israeli was up to space, Ilan Ramon, sadly he was killed during mission. So first of all, I hope 3 of you succeed going up and coming down back to your families and succeed. But what I would like to ask is, how do you two see the contribution of you working together to the region, the Middle East region. I would even say the religions between the Islam and the Jewish world. Do you think that you can contribute?
For me personally, we are going in a scientific mission for all humanity. So, in sake of all humanity, and to represent the whole mankind in exploring space and further. Our focus as a crew and the whole international cooperation is to explore space and to know more about how to can live in this harsh environment in future and go beyond the International Space Station, to go beyond that, to go to the moon, and in future to go to Mars. So that's our focus.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. More questions in the room here? Yes.
Thank you. I'm Martin Gallen from Swedish newspaper Dagens Nyheter. I have a question for Jessica Meir. As far as your research on the mission, what are your goals specifically? What do you hope to achieve when it comes to your research?
As a scientist, I'm very excited to contribute to the data set, and luckily there are a great number of scientific experiments up there. There are a few examples. Of course, as my background is in physiology, I'm very excited about those experiments. There are some hot topics that we're researching right now that you may have read about. There have been some changes in astronauts' vision coming back from spaceflight, and whether or not there are some changes in the retina due to the fluid shift and the increased pressure. There's a lot of research going on there. There are some studies about carotid health. Our carotid arteries after spaceflight have actually been shown to stiffen and become a bit thicker, and that is the same kind of thing you would see in aging that's accelerated in spaceflight. So we'll be contributing to physiological studies like that, as well as studies about the immune system. The reason why I'm wearing this ActaWatch right now, it's measuring light levels and activity, getting a baseline data collection before going up there. So a number of physiological studies. Another really important and exciting instrument that's up there right now is the AMS, the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer. And that is an externally mounted payload that's been on the space station for years now collecting data. And it's a pretty incredible piece of machinery. It's measuring high energy radiation from distant stars, so cosmic rays coming from distant stars. It is looking for evidence of antimatter and dark matter, so to begin to answer more questions about the origins of our universe. So really cutting edge stuff. Most of it I don't even really understand. And that's a really exciting piece of equipment that's up there continuously collecting data. It also plays into our mission because, unfortunately, one of the pumps that's vital to the thermal control system of that instrument is broken. It's not broken yet, but it is degrading. And so we're actually going to do a series of spacewalks during the mission in order to fix that pump. So that's a nice segue that shows, this external scientific platform that we usually don't have much interface with, but now we have to fix it, and actually wasn't designed to be fixed by spacewalks. So kind of like the Hubble Space Telescope scenario where, you didn't actually design tools for it or the interfaces for it. So it's a very complex and challenging spacewalk, and we're very excited to conduct that during the mission as well. So those are just a few examples. Of course, there are so many other studies, and I encourage you to look further in the NASA websites and resources of all of that cutting-edge research.
Yeah, that's great. The crew will have about 300 experiments during their 6-month stay on board, and all of our crews work on multiple experiments. And as Jessica mentioned, all of those are listed on our website, so you can explore more about those. All right, over here.
This is Nasser Abu Diab from Dubai Television, and my question is for Hazzaa. First of all, we're all proud of you from UAE, from the Arab world, as the first Arab astronaut to go to International Space Station. My question is, do you feel a lot of responsibility on your shoulders as the first Arab astronaut, and how do you set an example for the Arab youth in the Middle East?
It's a huge responsibility for me and for my colleague Sultan to be the first batch from our country in this program, UAE astronaut program. Our objective is to inspire the next generation. and to let them know that there is no impossible. This is what we learned, and this is what we are doing now. For me personally, I started to look at stars since childhood, and thinking to reach here is impossible, but I am living the impossible now. So my message to everyone in the world, to work on your dreams, work hard, and set your goals, and work hard to achieve them, and definitely will reach.
Hi, my name is Alex Carbar-Rutland. I'm from Texas A&M Galveston. I'd like to ask Dr. Meir a question kind of from the perspective of a graduate student. Now, a graduate degree is oftentimes seen as a linear route straight into academia. As someone who didn't take that route and was able to kind of create your own path, I was wondering if you could talk to the students who may be in a graduate degree looking towards creating a career of their own outside of academia, and shed some advice on to the students.
I think a graduate degree in any field is really an incredibly useful tool, and traditionally, of course, toward that path in academia. And I was working in academia before this job. But I think the most important thing about graduate school is that it really teaches you how to solve problems and how to learn and how to think scientifically and critically. And that's something that can be used, of course, not only in academia, but really in any field, in any job, especially at places here like NASA as well, in order to really use that scientific method, to gather the data, to use everything and all the resources that you have around you in order to solve a problem. So for me, you know, I had this dream of becoming an astronaut from the time that I was 5, but biology was my favorite subject, and so that was something that I always pursued, and I really just pursued both of those paths in parallel. I think the most important part of that was what I was passionate about. You know, some people think being an engineer or a pilot's the one direct path to becoming an astronaut, so if that's your dream, you should do that. But I would say the key really is to do whatever really inspires you and that about which you are passionate. So for me, that was biology, so I kept doing that, and it led me here anyway. You know, I think if we don't really pursue what we're passionate about, then we'll probably end up not really excelling and more importantly, not really being happy doing it. So for me, it worked out to pursue both of those lives in parallel. And I think, you know, again, using those tools, everything you learn in graduate school, then you have a lot of opportunities afterward. You know, as I'm sure many of you know, the job opportunities in academia are also pretty rare to come by these days. So it's good to think a little bit more broadly and look at different options that are out there for you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
I know we have another question over here.
Hi, thank you. Sophie Sanchez from Cosmic Chicago with Chicago Now. My question's for Oleg. The last time I spoke with you about your last mission, you talked a lot about your Soyuz training and a lot of what you've been going through. Can you speak a little bit about the areas of training you've been doing since your last mission?
Можешь повторить вопрос еще раз? I think it's better to answer in Russian for me now, because сейчас мы используем, перед мой второй полет был на Союзе ТММ, это был последний полет Союза той модификации. Сейчас нам предстоит полет на Союзе МС.
Well, I think I'll answer this one in Russian. So the last flight that I was on, it was on the last Soyuz M flight. Now we're flying on Soyuz MS.
То есть есть небольшие различия, нам пришлось пройти определенную переподготовку для работы на этом корабле.
So there are some small differences, and so we've had to retrain for those differences.
Но опять же, как я уже говорил, наверное, снова повторюсь, что это полет в качестве командира корабля, поэтому есть тоже определенные различия и своя специфика в этом.
And as I mentioned before, I'll be flying as the commander of the vehicle, and there are unique aspects of being the commander, so I had to train on those.
Ну и также у нас появились новые эксперименты в области биологии, биотехнологии, и мы продолжаем ряд экспериментов по материаловедению и по изучению конструкционных материалов.
And also we've gotten a lot of new experiments in biology, biotech, and materials and structures, and so we've had to prepare for those.
Ну, общие слова где-то так.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Thanks. Anybody else here in the room? One more.
Thank you, Nasser from Dubai Television. Again, my question actually is for the three of you. First, are you allowed to take personal items with you to the space? And if yes, what are the three items you take with you on your mission? Personal stuff.
We can bring a very small allocation of personal items. So people often fly things that are important, mementos, pieces of jewelry for people that are important to them, so family and friends. And I have several, it's not limited to 3 items. There are several, it's limited to a mass that comes up with you on the Soyuz. And then there's another small allocation that launches. Actually, some of my stuff is already up there. So for me, it was quite a few things I'm flying for other people as mementos and small gifts that I'm not going to tell you what they are because they're surprises. But then I also flew pertinent things to my background, accomplishments that I'm proud of and places that I'm associated with. So different universities I attended, a Swedish and an Israeli flag for my parents' home countries, items like that. Also, I think my stuffed panda bear from when I was 5 years old will be coming up with me as well. So items from all along the way, as long as they'll fit up there. How about you guys?
For me personally, I will take my family photo with me. So I will share with them this experience from space. And my UAE flag, which I will keep it with me in the house after I come back. And our leadership photo, which one of the photos that really inspired me to come here. It was back in 70s. Our leadership invite Apollo astronauts, and he was asking them about space and the achievement humanity makes in this field. And this is one of the pictures that inspired me. And today, I am living this dream, and one of the things that I want to really present it back to my country. Thank you.
Great.
Ну да, мы можем с тобой взять такого около 1 килограмма грузов, это, наверное, около 2 фунтов.
Yeah, it's true. We can only take about 1 kilogram of personal items, so it's maybe a couple of pounds.
Ну, как берут многие, это, наверное, какие-то личные фотографии. С течением времени все приятнее на них смотреть.
Like many other people, probably what's important to take is some pictures, and the longer we spend up there, the more lovely it is to look at those pictures.
Yeah. Какие-то сувениры от детей, ну, личные вещи, возможно, карта памяти с фотографиями и видео личными.
Maybe some presents from your kids, and maybe a flashcard with some pictures and personal videos.
That's great. Thank you. All right, one more.
Mr. Almansoori, you will have a unique view of the Gulf region from high above. What special visual targets will you have personally and with your camera to capture from this view from space of the entire home area?
From home area, one of the things that I want to take a picture of is my country in general. And we have a palm tree, if you know about it. It's like a man-made island in Dubai. And I want to take this picture from space. Mecca, which is our in Saudi Arabia, I want to take a picture of this place also. Many places in Arab region I want to take places of. These two is one of my top list.
And the great advantage of the International Space Station, actually, it's hard to believe, is the cuisine, is the food. Other participants and other partners bring their own food. What kind of food will you bring to introduce the other crewmates to?
Yes, actually, we did the experience for a whole week with the Russian partners, the food that we will take with us from Roscosmos. Additional to that, we took our own food, which is 3 type of foods. One of them sweet dish. They call it in Arabic blalid, which is like vermicelli sweet dish with eggs. So one of the things that I want to share it with the whole crew on board the station actually. So it is a sweet dish, and we will take one night to share it with the whole crew.
Thank you.
We're all very excited about that.
That should be a special treat. All right, now we're going to move on to the phone bridge. So if you're on the phone bridge, please press *1. If you have a question, *2 to withdraw your question if it's already been answered. You'll be allowed a question and a follow-up. So first up, we have Elizabeth Howell from space.com. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Hello, this is for Jessica. Now, while I realize your spare time is extremely limited, do you have any projects that you're planning to take on, whether Earth observation, educational, or something else?
Yeah, so one of mine is to take photographs of all the places I've done research, to do some outreach efforts with that in the scientific community. Also, I'm a very avid outdoor person, and so I love to ski, I love to hike. So I'm planning on photographing several ski areas and hiking areas, especially the ones, my favorite ones on that list. And I hope to do a good amount of voluntary science in my free time as well, trying to work some of those plans out with the ground now to try to take advantage to tools that we already have up there, maybe some small things that I might be able to throw into some care packages and try to expand upon that effort in ways that will be beneficial to the scientific community.
And I realize you have a lot of experience looking at the ocean and its animals from up close. What are you looking forward to seeing from far above?
I don't know that there's one particular thing. I think, yeah, I am really looking forward to those ski areas. We will be up there for winter, so I think it'll be nice to see the world with a lot of snow on it. And again, the oceans, like you mentioned, being given that my degree is in marine biology for my PhD, I'm really excited to take a look around and just to have that vantage point. One of my favorite spots is the Antarctic, and I really hope I get a few glimpses of the Antarctic. I will be doing an outreach opportunity with my old graduate team that will be down there doing research at the same time, and that'll be pretty interesting because that was something that I did when I was in the Antarctic, talking to an astronaut that was on the space station many years ago before I was an astronaut, so kind of full circle there. It's a little bit difficult to get good views of the Antarctic, though, given where we are in the space station orbit, but hopefully I'll get a few glimpses of that, too.
That's really cool. Thanks. Okay, on to Eva.
Yes. Hello, Eva Blaisdell, representing SPROS Poland and launching Lady Rocket Media. Congratulations to all of you and best luck. I am today at the Vandenberg Air Force Base, Lompoc area, where we are also launching a cable TV program dedicated to making space very, very, very popular, especially among youngest generation who might not even remember the landing on the moon. So my question will be based on passion and interest of young generation, and here it comes. Could you please share with us if music plays any part in your preparation for your mission? And since music and space unite us as humans and make us work together so beautifully, we also would like to ask you, on behalf of my viewers, if we were to give you a choice and send you to International Space Station, particular song, what would it be? If we give you a choice, Fly Me to the Moon by Paul McCartney, Rocketman by Elton John, and Major Tom, which we might be recording with Ariana Grande, which one song would you choose? Or do you have your preferred song that you would love to have with you at International Space Station?
Well, I could start out with that. Music is actually really important to me. It always changes my mood. So good music is something that I strive to always have around because it can really uplift me completely. And I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of friends who are musical gurus. So they've already put together a bunch of playlists for me during my mission. And they've already sent that. That will be going uploaded, uplinked to me on the space station. So that should keep me in good spirits throughout the mission. And I think that they've done it so that they have different types of music for really every event. I think I would probably choose Fly Me to the Moon, just because that's a classic that I really like, and that would be really my dream, is to go to the moon one day. How about for you guys?
Yeah, for me personally, I go with the same with Jessica. I love classic music, so same choice with you.
Ну да, Битлз уже давно стали классикой рока, классикой нашей музыки, и конечно, песня Маккартни в этом пользуется привилегией в этом случае.
Well, yeah, the Beatles are the classic rock band, and they are the foundation of our modern rock music, so definitely Paul McCartney's Flying Me to the Moon has the benefit in this case.
Но лучше взять все.
But I would take all of them.
All right, thanks. Good answers.
Thank you very much for the wonderful answers.
All
Lady
right. Okay, on to the next one, Meklovia, Geeks Without Frontiers.
Hi, my name is Meklovia Martel, and I just had a question. As it's nearly been about 5 decades since NASA has sent anyone to the moon, how do you feel about NASA's plans on landing the first woman ever on the moon by 2024? And this is for Dr. Meir, please.
Yeah, I think that's a very exciting prospect. I know that we are working toward it already, getting back to the moon again and getting a woman there. I'd love to be that woman. I'm sure anyone in our office would. So we'll see how everything shapes up, but I think it's a great thing that we have laid out that goal and that we're starting to work toward it. And no matter when it is that we actually get there, it's going to be another great achievement.
And what do you think the next step for womankind is in space?
You know, it's funny, I don't really look at it that way, and I know that many of my classmates don't really either. We're just really used to being here and being part of the team and doing the job that we're doing just like everybody else is. And I think that that's a really nice thing because it shows us how far we've come as a society where we're not feeling a difference between us and the rest of the team. And I hope that for all the children and people growing up and adults too, when they're seeing that, we're seeing a well-integrated team from a diversity of backgrounds, from a diversity of men, women, all kinds of people from all different experiences and backgrounds, and that's just normal now that we're all up there working together.
All right, thank you. Now we'll take a couple of questions from social media. So if you have a question on social media, you can use the hashtag AskNASA. We have Leah over here in the room watching for us. Do you have a question?
We do. We have a question from Manish who wants to know how the research in space helps prepare to send humans on a journey to Mars and beyond.
All right.
From my point of view, I think by living in the station, the International Space Station, and to know more how we can live in this harsh environment, it will give us more knowledge and more understanding how we can go beyond this, to go to the moon and to the Mars eventually. So from different aspects, from operational aspects, from medical side, from psychological side, so there's different aspects. So by living in low Earth orbit and stay there for longer periods, will give us more understanding how we can go beyond this.
Вообще изначально с начала 70-х годов сама идея создания долговременных орбитальных станций это была идея подготовки к длительным межпланетным полетам.
Actually, back from the 70s, from the creation of long-duration orbital stations, the whole idea was to prepare us to fly to explore other planets.
И уже позже была понятна их самоценность как нашей неземной лаборатории научной.
And only later it was understood that the station can be used as an orbital laboratory.
Но их роль как подготовка к дальнейшим полетам остается очень важной, конечно.
But its initial role as a training station for further flights remains very important.
Это отработка бортовых систем и также отработка как медицинского сопровождения, поддержки экипажа.
And here we're preparing and training for onboard systems, as well as for medical support and support of the crew in long-duration flights.
Ну и другие аспекты, конечно.
And there are other aspects also.
All right. Anything to add, Jessica?
No, I think they really captured it. You know, all of the data and knowledge that we gain from all of our missions are carried forward. And we need to have a better understanding, first of all these physiological principles like we talked about earlier. In order to take that next step, we need to be more sustainable in terms of growing our own food. We need to know more about the radiation levels that we'll experience when we go further out in the cosmos. So I think everything that we're doing is really leading us toward those next steps.
All right. Another question on social?
We have one from Jaden who wants to know what you're most excited to do during your stay on the International Space Station.
All right.
I think for me, as mentioned, the scientific experiments are really exciting for me to be able to contribute to that data set, and also to do a spacewalk. That's something that I've always dreamed about from the time that I was a child. When I had this dream of being an astronaut, it was, being in that spacesuit and looking back at this fragile blue planet spinning below you, and the only thing, there's just you there alone with this small life support system of the spacesuit itself. Luckily, there are quite a few spacewalks planned during our mission, so there's a very good chance that I'll be doing one or many more of those spacewalks, and we'll see as things get a little bit closer, but I'm very excited about that.
For me, I'm excited about the whole mission overall, but to experience the microgravity and also to be living in the International Space Station and conducting daily experiments and working with this amazing group on board the station is something that I'm looking forward to. Additional for me to experience this and to share it with everyone on ground, with my family, with my friends, especially my kids. I miss them, and I want to share with them something from space. So I make sure that I call them maybe from while to while with special pictures.
Absolutely. Oleg?
Ну, у нас, конечно, будет довольно напряженная работа на борту, но любимое занятие для многих космонавтов, астронавтов, это, конечно, наблюдение за Землей.
Well, we will have a very busy program on board, but one of the favorite tasks for many of the cosmonauts and astronauts is just to looking down at the Earth.
И, конечно, я уже для себя намечаю список объектов, которые хотел бы найти и сфотографировать на Земле.
And I'm already preparing a list for myself of geological features that I want to find and take a picture of while I'm up there on station.
That's great. All right. Did you have another one, Leah?
And this one is for Hazzaa. How many hours of training did you have to do to prepare for this mission?
For our program, we started from last year in September for this mission, for our mission. So I started from that with the Russian language and with the Soyuz training and with the Russian mock-up. And also we went to ESA to have the Columbus training. And now here we are in NASA celebrating with you guys the 50th anniversary of moon landing. In addition to that, we will go with the 2 weeks of training to know more about the station.
Awesome. All right, are there any more questions here in the room before we wrap up? Mark?
Space technology, and mine again is for Dr. Meir. How has being an astronaut helped with your original science pursuit in marine biology? Has it brought a dimension that's that you can sort of describe?
Yeah, for me, being an astronaut is actually connected to the research that I was doing, in the way that the thing that always drove me and the scientific question that I was really wanting to pursue the most was looking at the physiology of animals in extreme environments. So with the previous research I did, that was deep diving animals and high altitude animals and understanding more about how those animals are uniquely adapted in order to survive and excel at these difficult environments in which they live. And interestingly, now it's sort of come full circle where I will be the animal in the extreme environment. And unfortunately, unlike these animals, we are not very well adapted to survive in space. And that's why we have all of these scientific studies to understand, what happens to our bodies and how they change. And we have these very elaborate spacecraft and the space station and the spacesuit in order to keep our bodies alive, since we are not very adapted to that extreme environment. So for me, it really is just this common theme that fits with the research that I've done, and I guess it's my turn now, after experimenting upon these animals and gathering data on the animals and using them as my subjects. I bet it's time I pay my dues, and now I'll be the subject getting poked and prodded throughout the mission. So I guess it's only fair.
That's awesome. Okay, I believe we have some UAE media on the line as well. We'll pass it over to you. All right. UAE media.
Hi, I just wanted to. Yeah, I just wanted to check when is the UAE time for the question?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I believe we have some UAE media on the line as well. Pass it over to you.
Hello?
The delay. Hold on.
Hello? 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 Hi, hello from Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. We are very excited to join you in this press conference, and our local media is ready with some questions, and we'll start with the first.
مرحبا أخوي هزاع، فخورين فيك. وأول سؤال، يواجه العديد من رواد الفضاء تحديات صحية ونفسية بخصوص انعدام الجاذبية، مدى استعدادك لهذا التحدي؟
مرحبا أختي ورحب فيكم. They ask me in English, so in Arabic, so I will translate. They're asking about the challenges that astronauts face in space, from psychological and from health issues. So I will answer in Arabic.
Okay.
بشكل عام رواد الفضاء يواجهون تحديات كبيرة في الفضاء، ومنها طبعا مثل ما قلتوا الأشياء الصحية والنفسية. نحن بشكل عام رواد الفضاء مدربين يعني في تدريباتنا هاي كيف نتعامل مع الأمور الصحية بشكل عام، تدريبات الرياضية، الأكل، نظام الأكل اللي ناكله، وبعد الأمور الأخرى مثل يعني التدريبات الرياضية اليومية. طبعا على متن محطة الفضاء الدولية هناك معدات رياضية يوميا نقوم بالتدرب عليها، وفي نفس الوقت يخلينا نحافظ على مستوى معين من الصحة، وبالإضافة للأكل الصحي اللي ناكله يوميا. أما بالنسبة للأمور النفسية فجلستنا مع الطاقم نكلمهم وبشكل يومي نقدر نتواصل مع الأهل، هذا يخلي عندنا نوع من الأريحية أن نقدر يعني نفسيا نكون مرتاحين. طبعا نحن مهيئين هاي الأمور ودائما هناك في مثل عوائق لكن نتحداها وتعلمنا كيف أن يعني نتغلب على هاي الأمور، وفي المستقبل هناك بتكون مهمات أطول وأبعد وإن شاء الله بنستفيد من هاي التجربة. So my answer is that as an astronaut we trained in ground physically to counter any issues in space from muscles or any problems with our bones due to the radiations. In addition to that, from psychological issues, we work as a team, and also on top of that, we are like a family on board the station. So we are communicating with each other, and also we have a chance to talk with our families and with our friends back home. So there is a lot of ways to communicate with our beloved one on ground. So.
Great, thank you. I know we have a bit of a delay, so hang tight, but we're ready for the next question.
Hi, Hazzaa. Good evening. This is Denise from Gulf News. What will be your first order of duty as soon as you are on board the station, and what will your schedule be like on those days?
Hello, Jenny. For me personally, our schedule is really tight and busy for my mission. I will conduct just briefly the first day, astronauts day, as they arrive to the International Space Station, they will have a 1 day of rest, and briefly about the update on board the station. And from there, they will conduct their daily schedule. That they already know about it, and they will update it daily. There is a different type of experiments. You can do it on board the station, and you have been assigned to it. Additional to that, there is a different type of maintenance on board the station. Crew will conduct on board the station. Also, additional to the AVAs and different on board the station, outside and inside. So this is briefly about our schedule.
Hi, Hazzaa. Patrick here from the National. Hazzaa, my question is, you've spoken about the future of going to Mars, and also one of the things I was wondering was, just in terms of your own personal development, do you see yourself undertaking further missions after this one? Have you any aspirations to be, going to the moon? And then obviously Mars is a long way away, but how do you see the future for yourself panning out in terms of your own career in space, so to speak?
Believe me, if they give me the choice, I would love to go to the moon. But this is my first mission, and our program, UAE astronaut program, is a sustainable program. So this is the first batch, me, myself, and my colleague Sultan. He will go in the next mission, and eventually both of us will be good together in the next upcoming missions. So there will be a second batch and third batch, and we will be part of this international cooperation to explore space and beyond.
All right.
Hi, Hazzaa. This is Sarwat with Khalij Times. My question to you is, you're already well prepared for the launch. How have you prepared your family mentally and emotionally for your long journey, your 8-day journey to the International Space Station? Are they ready to see you go, and how do they feel about it?
My family, they are really excited and really thrilled as am I. So they're waiting for the days. They count them. My daughter called me yesterday and they called, Dad, you have only 73 days to go. So she's counting for me. So I'm really excited. I will make sure that I share with them the whole experience. Not only with my kids, with the whole Arab region, with the whole kids, because I think astronauts, they have a really very strong influence in the next generations. And this is one of our part and our job to influence the next generation. And I think we are in a good path in this way.
Great. How old are your kids?
I have 4 kids, 1 daughter and 3 boys. Starting from 9, my daughter, and then 5, and 2.5, and 8.
Wow. Do we have any more questions from UAE? All right, that's all our questions from UAE, they're telling me. So we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. Thank you all so much for being here and for being on the phone and online and joining us with this awesome crew that's going to be launching to the space station soon. So be sure to tune in and watch them launch on September 25th. But before that happens, we have another launch coming up. Their colleagues, NASA astronaut Drew Morgan, ESA astronaut, European Space Agency astronaut Luca Parmitano, and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Skvortsov will be launching this Saturday. So 11:28 a.m. Central Time, 12:28 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch that crew launch the same day as the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing, which we're also really looking forward to. So you can watch all the launches live on NASA TV, online at nasa.gov/live, and on Facebook, on the NASA Facebook page. You can follow Jessica along her mission, as she mentioned, on social media. She's on Twitter and Instagram at @astro_Jessica. And you can always follow the International Space Station on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well for daily updates, and find out more at nasa.gov/station. Thanks, everyone.
you.